guys, how's it going? This is Aaron Kramers with my buddies
Thomas McClellan,
Ian Taylor.
and tonight we're gonna be reviewing the 1993 found footage supernatural horror movie, The Blair Witch Project.
Where do we even start with this film, guys?
It's so fucking boring.
Well, yeah, that's probably a pretty good place to start. Because the thing is, well, we like slower-paced horror movies.
Yeah.
We like movies that don't have constant jump scares or constant monsters.
It
Well, those
follows anyone?
Yeah, but those movies had tension. Those movies remind you that the monsters are still present even though we don't see them. But the Blair Witch Project, it almost felt like a really bad college road trip movie where teenagers argue about a map for an hour and a half.
Where's the map? Where's the map?
And the guest stars a witch, or as I put it, where's Waldo, because you can barely see the witch, with a combination of wonderful shaky cam that I just love so much, and dark footage where you can barely see the movie.
pretty
Yeah.
much. I wasn't a fan of that. It's kind of hard to get invested in a film if you can't see it, really.
I know they had to shoot it like that because they had such a low budget. It was something like $50,000, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Something like that, but it made 200 million worldwide.
Well, that's because of the marketing, right?
But even then, like, it felt like they tried too hard. It never felt like somebody just filming in the woods. It felt like, it's like somebody just recording stuff in the woods.
Like an
should I
example
say.
of a found footage movie that actually felt like someone was filming it was a movie before the Blair Witch Project, Cannibal Holocaust.
Oof. Jeez.
Yes.
And that's really kind of pushing because that felt like it was
low blow.
low blow, really stuck in the whole exploitation kind of era.
But it's actually pretty good though. It's better than Blair Witch Project.
You almost said like it felt like a PG-13 watered down version of that movie, Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah. And that's saying something.
Brain fart.
I don't know if you guys know this, but apparently for the prepping for the movie, they had to give the actors a crash course on how to work on cameras like this because these guys didn't know how to work cameras, but the directors gave the cast sort of like a crash course, like, okay, this is this button, sort of like that.
You're right.
And I'll admit, I'm not a real big fan of the found footage genre, and I can understand why, because something must have been wrong when I was watching it, because it's too damn dark, and they just move it too much. I'm like, I can't focus on anything.
I can't see what's going on.
Yeah, like
I'm pretty sure if I went out in the woods with a found footage camera back in the day, I wouldn't shake it around like I had arthritis. I tried to keep things still as well as I could. Like, towards the end, it kind of makes more sense. Everybody's frightened, everybody's scared. But when they're just walking around the woods at the beginning of the movie, it's like I almost get motion sickness from how much they shake it around. It feels like they're trying too hard.
I watch a lot of found footage movies, and I'm used to that.
But dear Lord, man, really?
Good God.
Hey, again, this is also another movie like Night of the Living Dead where I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I watched it at first, when it originally came out in theaters. But the marketing campaign hyping up that it was all real and making up fake news stories that this actually happened, and then seeing a more realistic horror movie, I would have liked it a lot better at the time. But watching it now, it's like I've seen found footage horror movies before. It just doesn't seem that special.
You could also agree that another film that kind of ride on the whole based on a true story kind of thing was a film even before that, and that would have been the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Because at the time, people actually really did feel like the characters in the movie were real-life crazy people.
Who were murdered.
But, yeah, and they called it the most violent film ever made, even though when you think about it, there's only like just a cup full of blood, I think, in the movie, really. And most of that's just the actress getting splashed with the makeup
There's
effects.
so much of the violence is implied, and I love it when horror movies imply that kind of violence. But again, that's something that the Blair Witch Project was also lacking. I get that's why they were trying to go for it, but it just felt forced. If you want to make a realistic movie, it should never feel forced. You should always let the world and the characters speak for itself. And the movie just didn't do that for me. And my God, what annoying, wonderful characters we have in this movie.
Oh, they're like, all they do is argue, and their arguments aren't really that good. Reality TV has better arguments than this. And that's saying something.
I guess.
It's one of those like movies about friends where you wonder, why the hell are these guys friends in the first place?
I don't think it's quite implied that they actually are friends. I think it's just a job or a gig, really, for a lot of them. Especially for I think the only actor who actually really had a career afterwards. Yeah, pretty much.
Ouch.
Because I actually want to explain a little about what their ideas for the marketing was actually in a little. Now, before this film came out, the director said that actually what really inspired their idea for the marketing was a film called The Legend of Boggy Creek, actually. A little film about Bigfoot. Now, they wanted to sort of do the whole... Because what the movie did, it also had sort of like a mockumentary kind of style opening where they would interview the townsfolk and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they would show the actual thing. They wanted to do that, but I just wanted to imply that tactic in real life, so that way it would sort of get people interested. And in fact, the most iconic scene from the movie, the whole thing with Heather on the face, that was a mistake, actually, because they didn't realize that it was actually on extreme zoom, actually. So, ironic...
Sometimes you get these actors who've never acted before, who are new actors, that you look at them and wonder, wow, why don't they star in more movies? They're really good. But these are the perfect example of actors that feel like they're friends with the filmmaker, and that's the only reason why they showed up in the movie, because every time they should react a certain way, it feels like they react the opposite, or they just take it way too far.
Well, I can explain that if you want.
Yeah? Go on.
What happened was, with when they were making the film, the directors would usually, at the end of the day, give them, like, a little supply drop of, say, water, food, maybe sort of like things saying, like, for the next day, do this, that kind of thing, instructions. Because a lot of the script, it was just improvised, pretty much. So, as the days went on, the directors actually limited the drops and all that, which got the actors more kind of paranoid, tired, and hungry. So
and
that's
agitated.
why Exactly. And they did that because they wanted to get a more honest reaction from the actors. And I really actually gotta say, I feel bad for the Heather character. She's trying to keep order, but these two guys are just sort of losing it more than her.
They're the annoying drunk friends on every college trip movie. And the annoying friends that nobody likes to hang around with, but they're stuck with them for the car ride for some reason. And about the improvisation bit, it feels like they just left like all the bad, unnecessary bits of improvisation. Like they had so much improvisational dialogue to sit through in the editing process that the editor is like, I'm not sitting through all this crap. Let's just take the first two scenes from every improvisational bit and put it in the movie, good or bad.
I think they wanted to sort of like imply that the characters are kind of going insane or something.
But right? It didn't really sell that, unfortunately. And it does like nothing interesting with the filmmaking or nothing interesting with the sound design or anything like that to represent that the characters are going insane or anything like that. I get that they wanted to keep it more realistic, but first of all, I know if I walk into the woods, I know there isn't a witch out there. So I already know the film's not realistic. It just feels like it's trying to be realistic.
So, what's your final score for the movie?
Oh, 3 out of 10. For the movie that kick-started the found footage genre in the high gear, I expected a lot more than this. But it's like, as you said, like it's just boring. That's the worst thing you can say about this kind of horror movie is that it's a bit of a bore. And it really just feels like a road trip movie guest starring Where's Waldo slash The Witch. If that sounds like your bag, go ahead and watch it.
Okay, well, if you have to say that, all I gotta say is that I really don't like found footage because of the whole shaky cam and barely seeing anything. But I really did feel bad for the Heather character. Like, I'm sorry, girl, you had to put up with all that stuff.
You had to put up with 2 annoying teenagers.
And also, I really did like the scene where they find the tooth, actually. And not a lot of people know this, but actually they probably do, but apparently what the directors did to make that scene more realistic, they went to the local dentist and they asked if they could use a tooth for that scene. So there's sort of like a little film 101. If you need fake teeth, just go to your local dentist. They're always willing to help out. So that's my opinion. I'm going to have to give the film 5 out of 10.
Sounds
at most.
This is the most boring movie ever. Like, I do not really like this one. And if you're one of those people if you are the people that like this movie, that's fine. More power to you. But as for me, you know what? Fuck it. I'm giving it a 1 out of 10. Fight me.
Oh dear.
Can't wait to see that.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell button to get notifications. Also, we're on Patreon.
Yeah,
If you
there you go.
If you want to see more, guys, go to Patreon and we'll see what we can do on that. Okay?
Yes, we will give you like some stuff that's not usually on this channel, like a cooking channel with Thomas,
or something like that. You never know.
and vlog videos where we go to like we will post this on the channels anyways, but we'll be doing like vlogs where we go to thrift shops.
And it would all be supported by you, the fans. So
Yes.
And there's plenty of other surprises as well, too.
Yes.
But what are those surprises?
Even if you donate just about $1, you will get some of the goodies. All the goodies.
all the goodies in the world, man.
I'll see you guys next time.
Adios.